communications technologies to empower youth leaders toward the success of the MDGs and the post-2015 agenda. Dr. Josephine Ojiambo is the former ambassador of Kenya to the United Nations, and she is the current chief of the executive board and external relations for UNFPA, or otherwise known as the UN Populations Fund. We want to talk about how this group of youth, including her daughter, are so digitally connected.
Good morning, everyone. You sound a little dull. After such a vibrant performance, I was hoping each one of us would be trying out our own voices. So should I say good morning again? Good morning. Thank you. I want to thank the organizers of this forum for making it possible for me to come and share a few thoughts with you, but also for making it possible for young people from across the digital divide and across various settings in the international community to get together once again under the Youth Assembly to look forward to their own future and the future of our planet. I'll say a word about myself and then introduce the two young ladies who have brought me here this morning. Yinchu, thank you very much for moderating this forum and for indeed making it possible for me to be here. I was elected the chair of the Kenya Medical Women's Association, a lobby of 400 female doctors and dentists in my country, very opinionated women who held the centerpiece of the agenda on women and children's health in my country. I utilized that platform not only to talk with legislators and leaders, but also to provide services to the vulnerable and needy. I moved from that into representing women, both politically and nationally. It's at that level that I then began to work directly with my president, and after a short while, with many challenges, Julia is doing her undergraduate at Hunter and is soon transferring to Rochester to do a track in international relations. And with her is Yetunde, who is a PhD student at Rutgers studying global ethics, and she's working with me at UNFPA. That's enough by way of introduction, and I'm sure now you're dying for me to get to what has brought us here today. So I'm going to speak about the theme that Yinchu has actually very ably introduced, the issues of young people, digital connectivity, and the digital divide, and she's given you several global settings where these issues are very pertinent to our discussion this morning. And I'm going to speak a lot from my own experience as an ambassador to the United States, reducing maternal death and child death, and ending the burden of malaria, TB, HIV in the face of the developing world and places such as Africa, where I come from, but broader, achieving global partnerships that are still yet to be achieved. Each of these goals demands the use of ICT. ICT is therefore still an unchallenged, undisputable asset in the attainment of the MDGs. The use of ICT globally is a critical and necessary component in this contemporary era. ICT, if developed properly, can achieve very many great things. Today, in even the most desperate and disparate settings of conflict, perhaps on the African continent, you still find a mobile phone. I want to just speak about a recent encounter. We traveled to Dadaab. Dadaab is one of the largest refugee camps in Kenya about 2 years ago, when we had an influx of refugees across the border. And you'd find that even in the most disparate setting, there is always a palm top, a mobile phone in the hand of a refugee. But more than that, in some of the rural settings of Kenya, where you find the Maasai with you on what this actually means in local terms, in Kenya for us, we speak of M-Pesa. M-Pesa is a mobile telephony application that is used to send money across the country, within markets, It's used not only as a tool for, should I say, spending money, but is used to, should I say, to prospect in markets across regions within the country. M-Pesa is an innovation of a young Kenyan. Yet, because we're speaking about disparity, in some places in Kenya today, without electricity, young students can't even access the use of a laptop or an iPad. Anyway, with this unfinished agenda to attend to, there is a need to keep in step with the developments towards getting towards 2015. The 2015 development framework is largely in the consultation phase right now amongst member states, and there's a group discussing it that is called the Working Group on 2015. But the sharing of the information from this open working group through Google Hangouts like the one we'll have today will keep young people across the globe not only informed, but help them to become ICT programs. These programs are rarely afforded funding or recognition required to implement or replicate them in a sustainable and substantial manner. There's also a lack of the participation of youth in decision-making across the globe, and we must now involve the youth in national, regional, and international ICT policy development. Youth need the framework, the support, and the legitimacy required for sustained action in developing their space in ICT development. Again, lack of access. Many youth in rural settings, such as the ones that I have just mentioned, have tremendous hurdles in accessing ICT due to poor infrastructure and lack of power. Youth must be employed as learners, developers, contributors, entrepreneurs, and decision makers on the use of information and communication technology. Widespread access in urban and rural areas is critical to facilitating this empowerment. Governments should play a facilitatory role in nurturing ICT-related youth enterprise through positive policy and investment in ICT infrastructure. I want to speak a little bit there about the use of what we call the creative technology or the creative, creativity around the Global South. And M-Pesa, which has now moved forward to a place where we are looking at surpluses from M-Pesa to finance maternal and child health and to start banking schemes. This is an innovation of one young person. In my country today, on the other hand, our government is fighting to ring-fence funds in the Ministry of Education to provide a laptop for every young person in primary school. And still, we're having to fight for legitimacy for this program. In other world settings, technology has been used and even abused. Technology today has been used by young people to stir up revolutions and to spread democracy, such as that took place in the Arab Spring. I don't want to speak about the abuse of technology, but all of you, I know, are aware about the misuse of the same technology that we are praising today. These truths are common across the globe. I'm not going to speak much more. I just wanted to share. And as I share with you, I wanted to touch on a few issues that I'm sure we will expound as we speak together in the global Google Hangout that we're going to engage in. As I close, I just want you to know that on the other hand, UNFPA does focus a lot on the issues of young people, and we will in the near...
So our mass Google Hangout people are able to see this. Please, this is an opportunity for us to get to know one another as well. So if you can mention your name, where you're from, and just briefly ask your question as well, but briefly introduce yourself. Yeah. Okay, just turn on the microphone.
Okay. My name is Bernard, and I am from Ghana, and I am a student here in the United States. And I'm very happy you mentioned technology advancement in Kenya, especially with things like Ushahidi going on, and something that's open source software, which is spearheading development across the world. It is true that ICT and technology have a huge impact to play in the development of Africa post-2015. However, it is needed, I think, that Africa-specific technology be also involved, because things that might work somewhere in the rest of the world might not necessarily be a best fit for Africa, and then it requires a bit of tailor suiting to suit our specific climates and things like that. I don't know if you know this, but do you know if the UN or any agency in the UN is investing specifically in innovation in Africa, youthful innovation in Africa?
Broadcasting help deliver primary education, and I've heard that Uganda, Rwanda, some of the places do deliver some options such as that. So, so how has delivering primary education through radio broadcasting helped? And if you are aware, how successful is it? And what are some of the plans that you could implement to improve that broadcasting?
Thank you. So I think we have enough, we have 4 questions, and if Ambassador Ojiambo could just kind of sum up the answers in one, whenever you're ready.
Thank you very much for sharing some very key issues in things that you, I think, would be very familiar with, and a number of us here. But you know, the Global South doesn't exclude anyone, because it's the Global South and Triangular Cooperation. And I think that if you only just Google them, you'll find them on, I think, 2nd Avenue and 48th. Do visit them. I'm sure you'll find a lot. It's from your own participation that we'll find the best fit. Technology and innovation are only spurred when users become, and when users become, it has worked, not just specifically for education, even on the issues of health and agriculture. And I want to say it works best where you already have satellite link-up in place, even if that link-up wasn't initially for the purpose of education. Sometimes it's link-up for the issues of peace and security, but that can be used to also host a line that would link up on the issues of education. Sometimes it's link-up for commerce. You can always look for space, even from any commercial venture, under the name corporate social responsibility, to beam curriculum for educating the same community. So innovate.
Of you, and you are so fortunate to have been here. We know that there are other members of your delegations from Nigeria, Guinea, Mali, several other places, many other places throughout Africa, who are not here and who were very sad that for technical reasons they wound up missing this presentation. We also invite you to come back to the Youth Assembly, because Dr. Ojiambo was kind enough to speak at the General Youth Assembly, and would have had we not been closed today for Eid. If you are Muslim, Eid Mubarak. But otherwise, we are in many different places. So you should consider your...
Doug Court from ITU, from Geneva, and he is leading the efforts for the BYND 2015 Youth Summit, and he is in charge of member state intergovernmental organizations, and we will soon see him come on. Chuma, is it possible to help with the screen thing? Yeah, around the world.